God, please, no! 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 No!
I cannot believe I've got to make this fucking video. I thought this was kind of already explained, but Jesus Christ, so many people are still don't understand pulse, so we got to try to make sure that everybody understands it, so we got to take a little time out. But let's go over pulse, because some people don't know that there's certain ways to get it out and which one is the best. Now, of course, we're going to talk mainly about rifles, since they have the highest damage in the game, and flatline. This way we can get this stuff out, and this rifle allows for all three to happen, because we can use a laser pointer, which is one way, we can use the scanner pulse, which is another way, and then we can use a scanner drone to get that. Now, every pulse in the game, which would be the EMP jammer, the Banshee pulse, and all that, will pulse an enemy as well, but they don't have the best range. So the three that have the best range is the laser pointer, which can go for any weapon that can allow this on here, the scanner pulse, and the drone pulse from the sniper specialist. So let's go over some of these on how it works. So first one's up is we have the Gilligard mask, the Night Watcher, which allows for faster scanner pulse haste. Having this on and putting the scanner pulse on is pretty much vital if you want to use this. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the skill haste so we can verify how fast it comes back. And if you go down to it, you can see we've got it set up. So I'll go in here, we'll show you the numbers a little bit better. Alright, so there it is, 8.8 seconds. Now the duration is 10.6. And you see none of these extra mods are do anything except for adding on the radius. So this gives you from 110 to 105 in radius. That can be good, so having the gunner on can actually help any pulse out. Now if we come over here, we can actually increase the effect duration, which would go from 10 point something seconds to 11.5. But there is a problem with this, and I'm going to show y'all why later on in testing on what goes on with this, and why this isn't actually working properly, even though so many people want to sit there and say that this is the best pulse for like raids and stuff like that to get that extra damage out. It's actually not. So you can see I pulse right here, and you see the cooldown timer, that little square up there, that shows me that it's been pulsed. But I want y'all to watch something. See, it disappeared before the pulse came back. It's supposed to last 2 seconds on a target before it goes away, and I would get the pulse back. Well, as you see, I pulse, that takes the 2 seconds for it to count, so by the time this pulse comes back, it's already gone off the target, because those squares that you see are actually supposed to be telling you that the enemy is pulsed and when the duration goes away. So there's the glitch in it, and we would lose out on the damage when it's not pulsed, because you can see the square is gone. So it only lasts for the same duration that the pulse is actually active. So another one, which is a constant pulse, a constant scanner pulse for this weapon, is using the Sniper Specialist. And the Sniper Specialist also with rifles would give you headshot damage. So that's going to give you more damage by using this specific pulse and those specific weapons because of the Specialist itself. So the duration on this, a lot of people get it kind of, I guess you want to say, construed as thinking that the duration is also for however long the person is pulsed or the drone is pulsed. No, there's actually something that's missing off of this, and we have to show that by taking this mask off, get the Gilligard out of there so we can get the extra crit chance, because we're not using that one, and then as you see right here, it says duration of 10.6. It's not that. A lot of people think that the duration of the pulse on this drone when it's called is 10 point something seconds. No. See, look. See how fast the squares come and they go? They come and they go because the thing is doing a constant pulse. Once it pulses something, it scans again, and it scans again, and it scans again. As you can see, the pulses are coming and going, coming and going. Now, they do stay pulsed until they die, but it is also constantly scanning for new targets. So, a lot of people think that the scanner on this is like off and on, off and on, off and on. It is not. It is a constant pulse. If an enemy in the range were to die and it comes back, it's got to scan again. So that is the duration of the scan time. So it takes 2 seconds for it to scan for a new target. So there will be a 2-second delay of you getting damage and not getting damage. So the best way I can demonstrate that is if I call out this pulse, as you can see, it goes out there, and I were to get it back, I would have to pulse again, so on and so forth. It would still continuously pulse just like that. As you see, I just keep hitting that button and it kept pulsing. That's what it does. So if I send this drone out or something like that, I have this drone out, as you see, it does the same thing. It scans like it has a 3-second or 2-second timer pulse. Now, the other part to this is, trying to think of what it was. And you see, I put up new ads, it repulsed again. Now, if I hit reset, see these ads come back into play, they would get pulsed just like that little purple one. So, again, it's more or less that how fast that thing scans. That's what you got to know. Now, the third one is this one. Now, this one, you lose some crit chance because normally everybody has a crit chance mod in there. So that's an extra 5% crit chance, which now means a few of your bullets will not be critting on average, depending on what weapon you're using. Now, as you see, we keep them going from orange to red, orange to red. Sometimes we get a few more oranges up there, which means we crit. The reds mean we didn't. So, as you can see right there, we lose out a little bit of crit chance to get this. Now, this is for solo type players. This is not the best piece for group play. If you're going to be playing solo, you most likely will use the laser pointer because a laser pointer gives you guaranteed pulse as you're aimed at them. It's a constant pulse on what you're aimed at. So, rather than doing that, we can also show, for instance, like my ACRE that I have right here, we can show the damage numbers for something else, and we can put on all the extra crit chance and whatnot on here. Now, the reason why I'm bringing out the ACRE is because when I go to the other versions, we can actually show that it's at 59% crit chance versus 54, I believe, right now. So we're hitting for 403. Now, that's a singular target, okay? No armor. This is just health. We're just trying to see the base numbers, not trying to worry about the damage to armors or anything like that. Just trying to get the base, because that's what the weapon's about, is health damage. So 403. So we're able to crit fairly decently with this. Now, if I go to this version, where we take off the scanner pulse, we go back to this one. We're using the exact same weapon, same everything else. The only difference is that we're going to be taking off this, and we get that extra 5% crit chance, where we will now boost ourselves up to 59% crit chance. Same amount of crit damage we had before. We haven't put on any extra mods or nothing like that. We're going to test out these two now. Now, if I use this pulse drone, as you see, it's pulsed. We get 403. Now, the very first bit, as you see, 305, it takes a few seconds for the pulse to count. That's what I'm saying, as it keeps scanning. But once it's pulsed, it will be pulsed. So, for instance, let's say I kill an ad right there, and then another ad pops up, which is this target right here. It's going to have to repulse it. So you get the more chance to crit, and you get the more pulses to continue out. Now, same thing. If I were to do this, I pulse right here. Boom. So what you're trading in the differences between the three is the laser pointer will take away your chance to crit some of your bullets. The drone will constantly pulse, but it will take a few seconds for it to count. Unless you do this, those red lasers will instantly, when it's sent out there, will instantly give you that damage. Now, it still takes about a 2-second delay. The other one, which is the scanner pulse, if you happen to not hit it, you will not get the damage, or those new ads that come out will not be pulsed, but you will also lose about a 2-second between when it clears to when you pulse to when it would reapply. So there will always be, no matter what you use, a loss of damage somewhere. So again, this one here is for singular targets, not good for groups, while the other two, the scanner pulse and the drone, are good for group play and helping your team out. So it's more of a question of which one do you want to do. You want to help your team, or do you want to be stingy? So we're going to show this, even though I don't like using this mission. We're going to show this mission because it's easier just to show these little guys. I don't have a build for all this stuff right now. I'm just using one of my builds that I have called my commander build, which helps your teammates out for pulse. So we're going to demonstrate down here what it's like and how this works.
What happened to the team that went to try to repair the main shade node?
So we have a shield and we have the drone. First off,
find a way down there, but proceed with caution.
So I would send my drone out. It would, even though it's glitched like that, where it gets caught on these boxes, as you can see, it is still scanning because it is out. So I am still going to be getting that damage. As you see, it is still behind me. It is stuck. No matter what, as long as it can reach out there and scan them, it will scan them. Now, I was able to direct it right above here, but watch. This is what I want to show. And you see, it kills that drone. So if I lose that, that is 16 seconds I will not have damage. Now, he was pulsed, but as you can see, the other one was not. So I will always have a chance of losing damage. So it's not just about the loss, it's knowing where to put your drone. You have to be cautious because it is a skill that can't get killed. As you see right here, I'm going to demonstrate it again. I put it right here, boom. It dies out because of that. Now, these ads were still scanned and pulsed, except for this guy right here, because he came out of the door afterwards. So the other ones I got damage and these I did not. So that's another thing that you have to remember.
Find out what happened to the team that went to try to repair the main
this one
shade
here,
node.
we're going to use the
shelter
scanner
should be beneath your
pulse.
current
Now,
position.
because of that, we've
Find a
also
way down
lost
there,
some
but proceed
crit
with
chance,
caution.
which is about 10%, because we had a piece of Seska for the mask, and we're using the Gilligard mask. So we've lost the 10% for the Seska. We lost an extra 6% on the mask. So now we're down, what, 16%? So we're down 16% crit chance. So is this one going to crit as often? No. So that is also why the Gilligard version, unless you're putting a piece of Seska back into your build, is not going to be more beneficial. You're going to lose out on so much crit chance. So you have to make sure, if you use the Gilligard mask, you have to have a piece of Seska. I don't on this one. So that's where I'm trying to explain to y'all that you can actually lose a lot of damage if your build is not set up properly. But as you can see, these guys have been scanned and pulsed. I'm getting shot. I've got to make sure I keep my armor up, so I'm focused on that. And because I'm focused on this, I forgot to scan. Now, those ads didn't come out, but even still, look, they just came out even though I scanned. So it's timing. If you scan too early, you won't pulse them. So again, that's another thing you have to count into this. The failure to pulse. Or pulsing too early and not getting that damage on those ones. So there can also be an extra loss of damage in the scanner pulse.
Your current position.
Now in the final one
Find a way
we're
down
going to
there,
show you
but
right
proceed with
here,
caution.
this is the one with the laser pointer. So if I aim, he's instantly pulsed, right? But as you see, there's an ad that was behind him. It didn't even scan him. Even though I was aimed through that guy and he was right behind him, this guy behind the box right there to my right, he didn't get pulsed. If not, you'd be able to see that around him, right? He was behind him, but he didn't get pulsed. So there's a glitch with this that a lot of people don't know about, that even though the ad was right there in front of me, or straight in front of my weapon where my dot was, he still did not get pulsed. See that guy right there behind that box? I was aimed right over there, but because he was in cover, it didn't count. Now it does, see? So, again, you could scan the area, aim and point your weapon across the room, and sometimes those that you aimed at did not get pulsed. So that is why I will still say, as long as you replace your drone, look, they're still in my line, there they go, now they're getting pulsed. So that is why the scanner drone, if you properly place it in a mission, is going to be your best scanner pulse in the game, because it'll reach out, it'll show your teammates where the ads are or players in PvP, as well as it'll help you find those and keep them pulsed better, and you don't lose as much damage.